members, we're enjoying Marsha, our priestess, today, preparing our altar for us. I thought I would start the meeting early for those of you who jump in early, and you can watch her prepare this beautiful altar. Celebrating Kali. This is the season of the wise woman. That's winter in this hemisphere. Our themes today are in this order, and the order is important: surrender, death, and gratitude. Surrender, death, and gratitude. And we'll talk more about that. Oh, welcome, Elle. How are you, sister?
So good to be here.
Is the front door closed so the cat doesn't get out?
It is.
Our symbols are bones and skulls and blades and pumpkins and the animals, the spider and the serpent and the crow. Mata, you're the co-host, so if you could mute everyone who's not named Ava.
Yeah.
Sisters, we're having our Yule party December 11th, and it is, are you ready for this, a Viking Yule. Yes.
Ooh, cool.
I am now trying to figure out how to have Don Kinda arrange an axe throwing activity without damaging any of the beauty of our temple space. So we'll see how that works out. And Kathleen Lunetto, she's been a member for many years, and she's been very busy with her family for the last year or two, but she has stepped up, and she is going to once again do the catering for the Viking party with authentic Viking foods and such. So, and those of you who have tasted her meals, you know she's a wonderful chef. So we are lucky. That's December 11th for members. So next year, we are going to let go of Sunday services just for the year and concentrate instead on the holy days. So about every 6 weeks, a little bit more frequently for us because we add Thanksgiving, we will have the holy days in circle here. And this was applauded by Marsha. You were in favor of that, yes. Yeah? We put this to a small circle of women who attended the Hallows, and they all felt really good about letting go, just for something fresh, letting go of Sunday services, making our focus the holy days. And that is kind of special. Elle, are you down with this? Okay.
I was so happy to hear that.
All right. I will only say this once. Well, that's a lie. I'll probably say it many more times, but I'm going to tell you that I'm only going to say it once. I will be unreachable in January. Unreachable. I will not be on email, and any emails that come in the month of January, I will be eliminating without reading them, because I don't want to come back in February to 3,000 emails. So I really recommend that everybody do this, because now some of you with work and such might not be able to, but if you can give yourself one full month off for all this kind of tech that we are so involved with now, it resets your whole body. So I recommend that. Our honored wise woman speaking is, there she is, MARSHA Lange. Thank you for being here. I need a camera woman. That's what. So our facilitators today are Ava, myself, Naiad Priestess Mata. Very good. And I also consider, maybe she doesn't know she's a facilitator, but I'm going to tell her now. Vajra, our honored longtime member and great priestess and a teacher and colleague of mine, Vajra Ma. So just let yourself feel your feet on the floor, wherever you are. Feel how the earth is holding you. We're so accustomed to gravity. We don't think about gravity much. Let's become aware right now of how gravity is like the lap of the mother. And it's not like the lap of the mother, it is the lap of the mother. And she's holding you securely to her bosom, to her lap, and you're safe and secure, held in the lap of the mother. So feel yourself grounding to that wisdom, that knowledge, that awareness, and center yourself in your deep belly. And breathe.
We take a breath together. In and out. Another one in and out. We breathe the same air. Know that there is no time or space or distance between us. All is in the same space, the same place in our bodies. We are connected one to another by our breath, by the blood that flows through our bodies, that swirls around in our wombs, and wombs that were, wombs that are, the bones that come from the very earth that we have our feet set upon, is the minerals that are in each of our bones, and it informs us and it communicates to each of us this vast, deep, strong, powerful connection one to another. Down into the earth, she says, and back up to us. Oh, blessed be.
Blessed be. Blessed be. Let us set our intention together for three things that go together so naturally and so beautifully. Becoming more aware of the peace that we can find in surrender, which is not giving up. Surrender is sometimes thought of by some people as sort of giving up. And there's another way to think of surrender. Not giving up, but allowing yourself to accept what is in the now moment. Because when you think about it, what else can you do? If it's already happening in the now moment and you're resisting it, how is that helping you? The place of power is to be present, even if you really don't like what's happening in the now moment. You might really not like it. You might really object. Still, somehow, you must accept this. Many years ago, I spoke with a monk, and he talked about, he had been a prisoner in a Chinese prison camp for his political activities to free Tibet of oppression by the Chinese government. And he said that the way he eventually got released, and he cited to me that part of the energetic power that helped him get released from this terrible torture that he was going through every day, part of what he had to do was accept that that's what was happening every day. Not looking for the future, because that's not present, not complaining about the past, because that's not the present, but just wherever he was every day, whether he was in his cell or whether he was with a torturer who was about to do something horrible to him, he just had to say, this is what is. And he said, it's hard to understand, but it changed his level of power. So that's surrender, not giving up, but just saying, okay, this is what is. And from this point of power, I am going to intend something different. Most of you know Vajra has just had her beloved Wolfgang, husband of 20 years, crossover. And so she has some amazing insights into surrender.
Oh, well, with that introduction, I better live up to that, huh? In regards to my husband's death and surrender, what let me frame it this way. What I've learned through grief is that grief has gifts. People have said that to me, and I found it to be true. And the more that I embrace the reality of his leaving, death, his transition, he's on the other side. He's still alive.
Yes.
And
yes.
in a different form.
We believe.
But to accept the limitations of the physical world, the grief that comes with being physically parted from your beloved, that actually opens up the doorway to be able to communicate with them in that realm, as Mata said, is beyond time and space and distance. And that is a reality becoming very clear and real for me as I continue to surrender to the fact that he's there, I'm here.
Oh,
And through that, I find our union.
blessed be. Blessed be. Becoming more aware of the peace that we can find in surrender, which is not giving up. Second thing is the naturalness of death. This culture fights death so much in so many ways, especially for women not being allowed to look older. We're not really allowed to look like old women in this culture. Oh, she's really let herself go. Okay, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yeah.
So the naturalness of death, because death is obviously, there's so much to say about death, but one thing I do know about death is that it is absolutely required for renewal.
Yes.
How can anything be new if there's not a finite period of time for it? So there's this time period for your body. It is natural for your body to close out so you can have another chance at freshness. One of my favorite teachers, Sadhguru, talks about remember all your past lives because the weight of it would be so heavy. It would fracture your mind in this lifetime. So you're given this chance to have a new beginning in a new body every time, whenever that happens for you. And that is your new chance. Think about how your car, would you want to drive your car forever? After it was old and beat up, the seats were ripping and things were not in good shape anymore. No, you want to get a new car. You don't want to drive your car. You don't want to have your car be immortal and you can never get rid of it. You know, no, you need a chance at freshness. I am definitely not comparing your body to a car. And the third thing that we're setting our intention for is gratitude. So surrender, death, and gratitude. Because the opposite of death is not life. There is no opposite to life. There is only life. And the opposite to death is rebirth. That's the cycle, held within the container of eternal life.
Ancestresses, as we extend a hand towards the earth, whatever lands we have our feet upon, we ask ancestresses, the Ahashman people of the County of Orange, the people of the Shining Ones here in Colorado and Pueblo, and all those of our state where we sit, we ask permission to do this sacred, holy work, and we feel it is given. Big smiles, just rushed in. Yes, 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 blessed be.
Yes, yes. Powers of the north, in the south, in the east, in the west, all around us. We do not call you in, you are already here. Air, fire, water, and earth. Air of our lungs. Twinkle in our eyes and the fire in our bellies. The water in every watery cell. The earth, our bones and flesh. You cannot be called in. You cannot be dismissed. You are always here. And we welcome you into our awareness. Air, fire, water, and earth. We thank you for being the sacred building blocks of our physical life here in this material, related to the word mother, mater, matter, mathematics, all those words related, the material, the mother world. North, south, east, and west, air, fire, water, and earth, you are here. You are here. You are here. Hail and welcome.
Hail.
Yeah, and welcome. Guides and guardians, those who have been with us since the beginning of time, certainly our birth in this day and age, we welcome you, the angels of the heavens and the angels of the earth, our totem animals and all those who surround us in special support. We welcome you. You are here. You are here. You are here. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Great beloved Mother Kali, she who creates, preserves, and destroys, she whose womb is the universe and everything contained in it, she who is the great mystery, she who is our mother, she who lives in our wombs and in our hearts and in our blood, she who dances awake consciousness, the corpse of Shiva, she who is the creator of all that we experience. Divine Mother, Kali, open our mouths, our hearts, our wombs to speak in adamantine speech and communicate with each other in the way that each woman needs to receive your wisdom, your compassion, your love, and your presence in our lives. Beloved Mother, we welcome you. We thank you. Blessed.
Share her altar. Share with us what's on it and why, and then light the altar, and then lead us in the petals.
Here on the altar are several forms of Kali. I have Mahakali, the one who pervades all, the great goddess of the first third of the Devi Mahatmyam, which is in praise of the goddess. It is the culmination of all the Shakta spiritual theology, and all of that goes along with the worship of Divine Mother. She's facing east. Facing southeast is a mortal woman.
This is what you were speaking of.
Yeah, that's the Mahakali. And this is more of a universalist type altar. It's not a traditional puja altar in many ways. And then facing southeast, I have a mortal woman in the mood of Kalima, and she's in Kali Baba, the divine mood of Kalima. Next to her, facing south, is Smashan Kali, the picture. Ava,
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
the picture.
Oh, you were speaking of this?
Yeah, that was the mortal woman.
Can you please say that again? I had it wrong.
Oh yeah, she is a mortal woman in the divine mood of Kali. They would call it Kali Baba, and because Baba means mood. And you know how you can see.
Can I?
Yeah,
I think that the light is shining
That's
on it
okay.
in such a way that we can't see it entirely. Okay.
But she is in the divine mood of Kali. She blesses people through that mood. It is Mother working through her. And then to the right of her is a portrait of Smashan Kali, the graveyard Kali, the Kali of the cremation grounds. She's actually the form that Sri Sarda Devi, who was the wife of Ramakrishna, who was a Bengali saint of Kalima. He was also the main pujari at the Dakshineshwar temple, which is a big temple to Dakshin Kali, who is the boon-giving Kali. And if we make our way around, we have Ava's Kalima, who is a more traditional Kalima, four-armed and everything with fear not. There's her at one hand. The other hand is a boon-giving hand. And she has the hatchet, the head chopper. What is she? Yeah, she has the head chopper.
Does she have the head chopper?
She does?
We might need that head chopper later.
Okay, what do we
Never
have?
know without your head chopper.
But she's holding a head of the ego. And I think she has fear not, for you know that you are divine and all is one, as the Goddess Temple says. And I think she's giving, so she has the boon giving hand at the right bottom right hand land.
Boon giving hand. Just
Yeah.
take that in, women. Boon giving hand.
Yeah.
Women need boons, and we already are being given them all the time. We just have to open ourselves up to receiving, right?
And then the final form of Kali is, again, a woman in the divine mood, mortal woman. This is my guru, Amachi.
Amachi.
And she had Devi Baba, where she now currently is the great mother. It's just but back in India, she did Kali Baba. And actually, she is actually looked at as a form of Kali. They say it's very unusual for these holy women, because usually they're considered an aspect of like Lakshmi or Saraswati or something like that, or another form of a goddess itself. But usually the more benign goddesses, but Ma is Kalima, but she's very loving, she's very gentle. So, for me, I always like that because she is the great goddess. Also on here, we have Ava's head chopper.
I tell men what that is, and they just freak out. They look at me and they say, "What is this?" And I say, "Oh, that's Kali's head chopper." And they're like, "What?"
I think she's called Kurukula in Buddhism.
Oh, yes, right.
But because they did take it on. Also, because again, I do like a universalist thing. I also have, and for the women here and for everyone here after we do everything, I always have a mirror. A mirror that reminds you that you are goddess.
Yes.
And we can do a little magic around that like we used to. That's a little Dianic thing, that you look in the mirror and you gaze, you lock eyes with yourself, and then you really say, "I am goddess."
I am goddess.
Mhm.
I am
And
goddess. I am
goddess.
goddess.
All goddesses are considered to be Shakti. They are the whole reason why we can move, we can breathe, we can eat. The gods, in the dualistic forms, that not the Advaita, which is the one where extreme monism, where everything is the goddess. No matter what form it takes, it is all the goddess. But the more dualistic path, where they have Shiva or as the god and Kalima, or a form of a fierce goddess, the goddess is called Shakti. She is the enlivening force of everything. She is actually dancing on the stage of consciousness, which they call Shiva here, when he's lying prone. She's stepping on his heart because she's connected with him. But there's different qualities a lot of times to what kind of Shakti they are. And Kalima is very electrical. She's that buzz that keeps
The
moving.
buzz.
She keeps moving. She
The
keeps
existential hum.
yes, because I forget. Basically. Because there's other goddesses that are more like magnetic. They draw towards.
Okay.
As opposed to, but
Thank
Kali
you.
Ma is movement. She's total movement all the time. Her name means time and itself, but she's the action of time. She is also, and very much so, they call her the mother of time, but she is not ruled by time. She is eternal, but she creates name and form then moves forward, into birth, life, decay, transformation down, coming back again, that big holy cycle.
At home, this would be the time for you to make an offering to your altar. Place this skull
Please tell me about that.
in the north.
Facing east is Mahakali, the 10-headed, 10-legged, 10-handed Kali. She is all directions. Immortal woman. in the southeast is Kali, the divine mood of Kali. Facing the south, Smashan Kali, she of the great cremation grounds, she where all is brought down, all is equal, and all are of course welcome at her table. You're facing north. It's Chatur Bhuja, the four-armed Kalima, stride Lord Shiva. And here it's a name yet again, Kalibam, woman as Kalima.
What I love about goddess spirituality is that it's not overly serious.
Oh no.
You know, we're in reverence and we still can laugh, you know, mirth and reverence together, as the charge of the goddess says. Some religions are, you can't laugh, you can't joke, you can't be joyful when you're in the space.
God
You know,
forbid.
yeah, God forbid.
God forbid.
God forbid, exactly. And that is not the way we are, that we are like in life. Life is happening right now. We're laughing, we're sad when we need to be sad. We don't have to express our spirituality by being deadly serious. And that's what I love about Priestess MARSHA, who just, you're just always in devotion, you know, in a very like daily casual sort of way. And yet it's so profound and deep, you know?
Well, and it was always like for myself, because I remember Swami Satchidananda Saraswati, who is a devotee of Shrima, who is a Assamese emanation of Kali, and she's a very sweet little woman from Assam, India. They live up in Northern California, and he was always talking about make everything, you know, every day is a celebration, you know, make it an offering to the deity, make it an offering to God, as he says, you know, every day is another day to become one with God. So in the front, she. To the left and to the right, she. To the sides, she. Behind, she. In the lotus of the heart, none other than she. On one road and then another. Wherever I turn, there she is. My suffering is believing she is distant, but there is no nature apart from her. She. What is this non-dualist creed when she is all that is?
She is all that is.
She is all
She
that
is
is.
all that is. She is all that is.
I also always appreciate, because you had printed out, what was it, from the Shakta Tantra, about everything, no matter what form it takes, is the form of woman. Which is basically, again, you know, strict monism. Everything is, and I go, yeah, everything is female. Everything has an X chromosome. So, you know, yes, the Y chromosome is the Y.
Monism, it's everything is goddess.
That's
Everything is goddess. Yeah,
Everything.
Mona's our goddess. I don't know who she is, but Mona's our monism. Yeah.
Because it's the flower petals. You can think, touch it to your forehead. Offer her your thoughts. To your heart. Your love, your joy, your balance. You offer that to her. Your womb space, your yoni, the external and internal portions of our reproductive things, which are the sacred downpouring red triangle. We are one with her. We emanate from her womb. We have our womb. We offer that to her. And then, if you're actually having issues, offer all your negativity to her. Put her out. I must really be negative.
That negativity is gone now. There's not even any light on it. It's completely gone.
Yes, right. But, and that's of course our.
Take a few and pass it on.
Pass it on.
Let's take a moment to make our offering. If you are interacting with your own altar, this would be the time to do whatever pleases you at this moment. And the women can do this all at once. Don't have to wait.
The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything. I just love it.
I offer these for the women of the world who are joining with us here. In the unseen world, I offer these for our members who are joining us, who are with us.
Strong, powerful women all.
Yes. Offer them.
Strength and power, all that is, we are heard. And love and joy, and all that is, we are heard.
We are her.
Again.
We are her. 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 We are her.
But even in our nastiness, even in when we want to bite the head off of somebody, even when we're being a soccer mom behind the wheel of a car, we are her. Always. Her.
We are her always. We are her always.
We are her.
We are in sacred space, sisters.
And we're gonna like.
I just saw this morning about an article about Kali being considered the symbol for women now, like Diana is. That Kali's a fantastic symbol for women as well, and I'll put the link in the chat if someone wants to find it later. But the points of her being unapologetic because she doesn't even consider that there could be anything to apologize for. She's strong and exists strong and unbound from any of the cultural constraints. And this one was very interesting, that the mother of all power without being reduced to the role of a mother. Her femininity is not performative. It's just, it makes you uncomfortable. Yeah.
Right.
Her image is uncomfortable. It makes men uncomfortable. Well, obviously when men came to the temple and saw Kali there with all the heads and everything. So
And they're all wheel heads too.
and her blood is it's unsettling to others, but women are intimately familiar with their blood or blood. So it's not quite the same thing for women as for men. So and she's unmanageable. Just really fascinating.
Oh, yes. We shall not be managed. We shall not be managed.
That was what came in today for me, and I will start to seek her as this, and understanding her as this, and understanding me as who she is, and in this symbolism, because this is what the world needs, who the world needs us to express ourselves as. I mean, what would they do? What would they do if we just all had this attitude? So
she's black, and we're often afraid of the dark, the blackness of space and so forth. She's like the ocean, and the closer you get to the ocean, which seems dark and dark blue and dark green, and you get to the ocean, you scoop the water up, it's clear. And she is clear light, as well as the deep blackness and darkness. So as you get closer to her, you feel her compassion. You know her compassion. The fears that you have that that Mata just spoke about, especially the men, right? They really need to learn to go beyond that fear and come into her treasures of compassion. She is the treasure house of compassion. And in terms of the conditioning, not being part of the moral conditioning, yes, I had experience very early on back in the 90s in a dance circle where I had my Kali blade around me, and I came in and I was dancing, and I just had this rage about men and what they're doing to women. And I took that blade and I stabbed it into those actions, into the like a male, imaginary male body that was embodying all of that attack and hatred of women and violence against women. And in that, my tongue flew out of my mouth like that. And for me, now today in India, they say that the tongue coming out of the mouth, it's because the woman is shy. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's power. And nothing shy about this. And I felt that my scream, my rage of scream, my indignation at the what's being done to women was so huge. My mouth had to open up and my tongue had to come out to make room for it. And what was so interesting was I had not one taint of moral, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, don't kill something. Not that I was killing men. This is not, you understand, this was on a level of the archetypal or trans, you know what I mean.
Yes,
and I wasn't going to go out in the street and start stabbing men because she's Kali too. They're Kali too. And so I opened up so much that there was no space for moral judgment or a feeling of guilt, Christianized, Islamic, Judaic guilt, that I had this rage that was protecting life. And it was so liberating. It's always lived with me, as Kali taught me that and many other things since.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh. We are blessed to have Priestess Sandy Cabelle. She is a great wise woman. If you're willing, if you have something that you would like to share with the women about Goddess in her aspect as Kali, we would be so grateful to hear it.
Thank you, Father, for sharing dancing Kali. I remember you doing that, and one flick of your nail, and Kali had a very difficult time for a while, and Kali saved me. And Marsha and I went down to Little India, and I got a statue of Kali as Durga Kali, and I've danced Kali with Vajra before. And she is not only the Kundalini, but the Shakti, the life force of who we are as women. She's our primal way of being. When we're in touch with who we are, we truly are. Kali is that representation of that sacred femininity that we all embody. She's our body. She's our being that we express on this plane through our physical divinity. She has that compassion, but it's that fierce protection of all beings who need help, especially the mothers and the babies. If you think about society today, I have a daughter-in-law with 2 little babies, and there just isn't support in our society for mothers and their babies. There just isn't.
Right.
So it's up to us as grandmothers and aunties and moms to help our young women and help the young ones coming up to know that we are complete who we are, and we're not only entitled, but we just to be is what Kali is. She just is the being that's created our universe. As she creates, so do we.
Blessed be. Blessed be. Thank you, sisters, for sharing your wisdom. I was sharing with some of the women before we started our services how I have this Buddha that was given to me, and I've had it for many years, and it sits outside on my patio at my front door for people to enjoy when they come in. I came home and I saw that the head had come off and the head was sitting in the lap of the Buddha. I made the connection between this happening and Kali with her Kartika, with her head chopper. And it came to me that it is time for women to step up and become the compassionate, powerful, gentle, loving, wise leaders everywhere for our families, for our neighborhoods, for our communities, for certainly for ourselves, in our workplaces, our legislatures, and for us to realize, for us women to realize that men's egos can no longer be permitted to rule the world because it causes so much destruction. So my prayer today that we'll make later on is about that, helping women, put this on the altar, would you? Helping women understand that we can no longer allow men to rule the world. And yet we will find ourselves in very specific daily situations where they are ruling the world, they are making decisions, and we need to think even more clearly about how we can take the leadership, but not in a way that causes them to want to fight us, because that's just going to be fighting, and I'm not up for that. How we can redirect, how we can get them to see that women being in leadership will be so much more joyful for them too, when they are not leading with ego. That is not their correct place in the world, is to lead and guide humanity with their ideas. It is for women to guide humanity with vision, and for men to support and defend and protect that vision. That's what we believe here in this circle. And if you don't believe that, this may not be the circle for you. That's what we're thinking about today as we make our prayer for women of the world later on. We'll be thinking about how women can say and do the right thing in the moment when they are confronted with a male ego that wants to dominate. What can we do? And we need to prepare ourselves so that we're not flustered, so that we're not flummoxed, so that we're not discombobulated when that happens, so that we just step gracefully into the power and do the right thing with compassion, not to embarrass them, not to shame them, not to put them down, not to try to wreck them and stomp all over them. That is not our way, but to be compassionate in our leadership with great wisdom and power. So that's what I think the head rolling off mysteriously the Buddha means for us in Sunday services today. We are so fortunate to have as our guest priestess today a woman I have admired for so very long, who I have learned so much from. She's so friendly and gentle and positive and humble that when you start to learn the depth of her knowledge, it's just overwhelming. She is all of that. She is all of that. She has served in this temple for many years, has made many, many beautiful altars, as she has today. She's highly trained. She is just a wealth of information. I just respect and love her so very much. Let us welcome Priestess MARSHA Lange as our speaker today on Kali.
Om Mahakaliya cha Vidnahe, Shma Shanavasanyaya cha Dhimahi, Tanno Kali Prachodaya. Om. We meditate upon the great goddess who takes away the darkness, Mahakali. We contemplate she who resides in the cremation grounds, Shmashan Kali. May that goddess grant us increase. Alala Vandanam Gora Mukta Kesham Chaturbhujam Kalikam Dakshinam Divyam Mundamala Vibhushitam. The sound of her voice makes one dreadfully fearful. She has loose hair and 4 arms, Chaturbhujam, who takes away the darkness of divine ability and displays a garland of heads of impure thoughts. In her left hand is a recently severed head, the ego. In her upper left hand, which is raised, is the sword. With her lower right hand, she grants fearlessness. And with her upper right hand, she gives blessings. She shines like a dark cloud and is clothed in space. She's naked. From her neck dangles a garland of heads dripping the blood of attachment from their severed necks. Her 2 ears are adorned with ring-shaped ornaments. Her body is withered like a corpse. Her large protruding teeth are extremely terrifying to the ego, and her large upraised breasts overflowing. She wears a girdle made from the severed arms of corpses of impurity that she has slain. Her face is filled with laughter, pouring forth from the throats she has cut comes a torrent of blood, the life of all passion in a glistening river. Extremely frightful and gratefully terrifying is this resident of the cremation grounds, this young woman with a figure like an ascetic's begging bowl with 3 eyes, pervading the south and filling up everywhere, unattached. She is resting with ease on the corpse-like form of Mahadeva, the great lord of all, standing upon his heart. Shiva, the energy of infinite goodness, Kali, emanates a dreadful roar that pervades the 4 directions, and Mahakala, the great time, Shiva, equally reverses or sends it back with greatest delight. If one contemplates Kali, the remover of darkness, in this way, with her face of radiant beauty and gives pleasure, and its wide, expansive smile, one will become prosperous and fulfill all desires. And it's a dualistic form of Kalima because they're Shiva Shakti. This is out of the Cosmic Puja, and it's a puja that developed again from good old Swami Satchidananda Saraswati. That is the Devi Mahatmyam. In all, you worship the entire universe when you do this entire little booklet here. Kalima has origins with the tribal peoples of the Vindhya Mountains, which are northwest India. Just like Durga Devi, she is a warrior goddess. She was the Sabras were the names of the one of the big groups of indigenous peoples that did worship her. And she's warlike, drank blood, ate meat. They gave all these impure offerings to her. And it's always kind of curious how Kalima became Vedic, and she became a mother. Because when you look at the whole concept of a mother in society, a mother is the life force. The mother gives life. The mother supports life. She does all that. But the interesting thing is that the Sanskrit term, Ma stands for the great goddess, the goddess herself. It also is a mother. It's a term for mother. And it is also the term for woman. So again, we're being looked at as deity. We are life giver. We give everything. We give everything out from our bodies, where her practice is now mainly tantric, as they call it. And Tantra is an embodied practice. It was more than likely very verbal. It was orally transmitted for a long time. Most of the tantras that you see, the written texts, as I always say, were written by men, for men, from what they learned from women orally. So, you know, and then
And then that's how we get erased.
yeah, and that's how we get erased. And again, but they wrote it for men, so they have their own spin on it on top of it. So when you read about, you know, in Tantra, it's either union with another, tunta, which is considered sexual union in a physical aspect, but also the union of us, you know, knowing that we are all one. But it's also death too. Kalima is worshipped in death, in the shmashan, in the corpse ritual, with the vira, the heroic worshiper, the heroic sadhak, who sits on the chest of a freshly dead body and has no fear. He knows death is life. This decaying corpse is the Divine Mother. I am the Divine Mother. What is there to fear? What is there to fear? And again, they do talk about the corpse ritual a little bit more with women and men doing the corpse ritual too. But again, it is interesting. And of course, Tantra is a worship through you, where you embody, you recognize yourself as deity. And actually, when you see a pujari doing Tantra puja, you'll see him at one point where he'll do the meditation with the kundalini and the flower on top of his head. And when he feels that he is in union with the goddess, he then takes it and tosses it at the feet, because he has worshipped himself. He has done the internal worship. And if you've been to my women's pujas in the past too, when we do all the little bija mantras for the hands and then the whole body and things like that, that is basically reminding ourselves every part of us is divine. We are divine. We are divine beings. And when you were talking about the things with the blood and things like that, really, when you look at it, what is it? If you look at Mother and you look at the great goddess and you look at Kalima and she has the wild hair, well, part of women's menstrual monthly rituals is your hair is unbound. You unbind your hair. And you don't bathe supposedly for the first day. I think the first day, traditionally, and you just sit in a corner or something like that of the room and you rest. And you're supposed to rest. And in fact, in Kamakya, which has the goddess called Kamakya, the goddess of all desire, she's also looked at as Kali by them in Assam. It's also her peat, or her seat is in Assam, and it is actually where the yoni of the goddess resides. That is the greater sacred geography, as opposed to us as the sacred geography, because we have all the Shakti peats on our body. We have our yoni, we have our heart, we have our pinky finger, we have our toe, you know, all that other stuff, where all the other peats are all pieces of the divine goddess's body. And there in summer, right before the monsoon system, so it's hot, it's sticky, it's uncomfortable, and blah, you know, and it's like, and then the monsoon hits and everything cools down and the waters, you know, are flowing and everything. Ma goes into seclusion for 3 days and they worship her, and she is an iconic stone that has a opening in the middle, a slit in the middle that's open. And they worship that. And actually what happens is the water that naturally drips on it actually becomes blood red from iron oxide pre-monsoon. Mother's in her period. So they chant to her, they sing to her, they lay strips of cloth over her, little like worship, little cotton strips, and let it all drop, because you're receiving, it's all Mother's menstrual blood. Which is Shakti too. And then after 3 days, they open the doors, the devotees can come in, they get their protection and good luck for the good year, for a good year with their getting one of those threads tied behind, but it's Mother's menstrual blood. And they feel and they believe that the first offerings of blood to tantric goddesses was actually menstrual blood, because as we say in the Dianic craft, she who bleeds and does not die. That is the miracle. We do not die. And see, men, it's violence to bleed and things like that, except, and it's also very painful because from what I understand, the Australian Aboriginals, their manhood, when the young man is becoming a man, part of it is he gets a yoni, where he lays across the back of his father and they slit the back of his penis. Now he has a yoni and he gives birth. So they look at it as that way. And I'm sitting there going, well, since men don't naturally do it, and I'm always going, well, what are they going to do? Well, they can just utterly adore her and give her offerings and pray to her. My opinion, but
It seems similar to the Zeus thing of, Athena coming out of his forehead. the
Oh
cleft in his
gosh,
forehead.
yeah, and because it was totally, taking over. So, like I say, she is a tantric goddess, and she's a mother in that she is Ma. She is female, like us. We are female, and when you talk about the primordial Kalima is who we are. It's like, yeah, they've been trying to tame her just like they try to tame Durga. These fierce warrior goddesses. She was also during the late 19th century, during the independence movement, and and especially in Bengal, she became the national figure of Bengal, Kalima. She was also worshipped by the outsiders. She was also the Kogi cult, which were the thugs, where we get the term thug from. The thieves had to worship a deity, and they worshipped Kalima. Also in North India, they have the Yogini Temples. Oh, okay. They have the Yogini Temples, which are open air. They're circular. They have the 64 Yoginis, and those temples used to be open in the middle. Now they put Lord Shiva in the middle. They Shaivite it, or sometimes they'll have Durga in the middle and stuff like that. But they co-opted because it was always open, and they worshipped all the yoginis and whatever they did with beyond that. And when you come in and you worship them and you worship them as that.
So down through the ages,
Yeah.
things have changed.
Things have changed.
To erase women and to put men in power.
To make basically that's it. That's basically it. Even like I say, in the heart of her worship in Bengal, she is married to Lord Shiva. He is her husband. The reason why she sticks her tongue out is there's this dance that she does. She's destroyed, but then the gods, oh, thank you, yet again, you have saved us, blah, 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 blah. Just like Durga Devi too. She does this dance and they're all worried. Oh my God, she's going to destroy everything, or we're all going to disappear. So they treat the gods, and Lord Shiva lays down in front of her. She is dancing, steps on him, looks down and says, oh my goodness, I'm standing on top of my husband. Right. But anyway, that's how they, again, try to keep her in the fold of married woman. Even the matrikas.
Managing the unmanageable.
I know. It's you just sit there and you go, why? Like, we're really going to do something to you. We're not you. We're not going to sit here and say, okay, I got to dominate you, and stuff
It's not
like
the
that.
woman's way.
No, it's not. It's all, and it's about having boundaries, like Ava talks about with the queen, and the goddesses do have. They are the goddess, but they envelop you through their worship. You become with them. You are them. You are goddess. And that's why at one point, I hope everybody gets a chance to, we can hold it up to it eventually, where you can lock your eyes and you are goddess itself. So
Look into the mirror before this day is done
yes,
and say, I am.
goddess. And there was a woman that used to do her magic. Every time she'd go into a bathroom, she used to like do a little magical act to the bathroom, because she says women look at the mirror and it's all this critical stuff. And she's going, no, we are a reflection of the Divine Mother.
Right.
Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Shranye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namaste Shrishti Siti Vinashanam Shakti Bhute Sanatane Gunashre Gunamaye Narayani Namostute Sharanargata Vinarka Palitrana Parayane Ya Sarvasyatri Hare Devi Narayani Namostute. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shiva Kashamadharti Swaha Swadha Namostute. O Devi, you are Jayanti, the most superior and ever victorious. Mangala, the 6 stages of birth and death, one who removes. Kali, who deluges everything in the time of pralaya, that's before the creation. Bhadrakali, one who gives happiness and peace. Kapalini, one who resides in the forehead and the hands of God. Brahma, at this time of pralaya. Durga, one who removes the obstacles of the devotees. Shiva, of the nature of pure consciousness. Kshama, compassionate. The Harati, the support of all creation. Swaha, the nourisher of the gods, the offering. Svadha, one who is pleased, the pitras or the ancestors, one who receives the offerings. I bow down to you.
Marsha, thank you, thank you for your incredible wisdom. We're so grateful to you. You are just an incredible treasure for us. Incredible treasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Marsha, let us think about the gratitude that we have in our hearts as the third part of today's theme. Let us think about the surrender, and next time I'll have a camera woman.
It's okay.
We'll think about and let drop into our hearts even further the surrender, the death, and the gratitude, and hold that in our hearts through the season until winter solstice, when there might be a shift for us in our consciousness to focus on something new. But let us have that time during this dark time of the season, instead of letting society and the world push us and drive us constantly towards doing. Let us take this time, let us claim this time. This is part of our sovereignty. This is part of the expression of our sovereignty. If we do not take the time we need in the dark time of the year, in this hemisphere, this is where we are on the planet, and this is the hemisphere for the time of darkness, then if we do not take that, then we are knuckling under to patriarchy and this system. And so our very first act of power must surely be to take our time in the dark, to tell people, particularly men who may not understand this yet, to tell them it is necessary for me as a woman to take my time in the dark right now. And let them understand that. And if they don't understand it, and they say, what do you mean? Don't necessarily feel you have to explain everything to them. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Some things don't need to be explained. Let them just absorb it. Just be kind, be sweet, and just say, I'm thank you so much. I'm leaving now.
That's right.
And I haven't even chopped your head off. This through line of women's wisdom intact for future generations. And let us express our gratitude.
Gratitude is the fast track to connecting to the divine. It's an immediate, direct pathway. And I'm grateful for gratitude because it expands the heart. And it opens the pathway to receiving the messages, the love, the downloads, you might say, beyond words, to receive the energetic transmission from the Divine Mother, whether that be through nature or the people around us or directly inside our heart and mind and womb as she speaks and gives us that nourishing energy. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Yes, I appreciate, I appreciate appreciation and gratitude in all of us and this beautiful teaching and the services in the temple and all the women. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Blessed be.
I'm even grateful for patriarchy. It's teaching me something right now. You know, and actually, when we look at gratitude too, in the Devi Mahatmyam, when they worship the demons too. At the end, there is a small little worship to Mahishasura, who is the great demon buffalo, who she fights in the middle chaitra, where she worships her mount, her lion or tiger that she rides, but she also worships the demon too, because he is also part of everything too. And ironically enough, he is goddess. He's not, I mean, that's the thing I like about the Hindu belief, is their demons are not strictly evil. They're misguided, basically.
Right. And can we look at men that way?
Yeah.
Average men in patriarchy?
Average men
They're-
are misguided,
They,
you know.
no matter what evil they create,
Yeah.
they are misguided.
Yeah, they're misguided and they're little boys, but they're little boys that need to
Yeah.
learn.
Right.
We need some apron strings working right now.
Yeah.
Sadly enough. you
Apron
know.
strings in one hand and a head chopper in the other.
Yes. and Ava's crown on your head.
That's right. Get that crown on your head, queens. That's right.
You got these boundaries.
Dropping in to our prayer in the next moment. Normally, we would pass the offering bowl at this time, but I believe most of you have already made your tithe online. So let us just take a moment to feel our gratitude at our many members who keep this circle alive and going, who hold this through line of women's wisdom, so that other women coming after us can learn, and who also are holding all of our sacreds in storage until we find our new space, which is coming. I do believe we shall find it, and when we do, we shall joyfully have a new public space, as we did for 18 years, and we will not rush it. We will not take something that is not completely right for us, but I am holding that vision. Sandy Limina is holding that vision very strongly, and our members are holding that vision. And Donna Balch, Queen Donna, is holding that vision. And so let us all hold that together, that we have a wonderful museum of women that we can invite the public to once again and teach women what their proper role is in the world, which is as the compassionate, visionary leaders and guides for humanity, the ancient, natural, spiritual authority, as Vajra Ma's book speaks of, from a hidden stream. And if you are new to this circle and you do not know anything about that, may I recommend that you go on Vajra's site and purchase that book. It's a brief book, but packed with wisdom. I call it the Little Bible for women. Let us avail ourselves of our resident wise woman's abilities and knowledge. And as we make our prayer for women of the world, we are remembering this idea that we women realize that men can no longer be allowed with their egos to rule the world. It is time now for a change, high time for women to step into that power in their daily lives. Let us dedicate Marsha's chanting to this principle and to send that energy to women of the world.
Eva, you're muted.
Yes, I know.
What did you want?
I was gracefully giving an instruction that I didn't want everyone to hear. But you called me out. You called me out on it, Vajra.
Tail between my legs.
You were just trying to be helpful. All right, we're waiting for Marsha
Something to
to
go on. So
chant for us, and we're holding this vision of women powerfully and compassionately stepping into their power to help men understand that for the good of all, they can no longer lead the world with their ego.
Om Jaya Tvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhuta Paharani Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalani Durga Shiva Kashamadharti Swaha Svadha Namostute Madhu Kaita Bhavit Kamsi Vidharti Varade Namaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Drisho Jahi Mahish Asura Nirnashi Bhaktanan Sukade Namaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Drisho Jahi Dhumra Netra Vade Devi Dharma Karmartha Dayani Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Drisho Jahi Rakta Bija Vade Devi Chanda Munda Vinashani Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Nishumba Shumba Nirnashi Trilokya Subhada Namaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Vanditam Giri Yuge Devi Sarva Saubhagya Dayani Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Achintya Rupa Charite Sarva Sakshatur Vinashani Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Nathabhya Sarvada Bhaktya Chapane Dortipakyaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Stuvabhyo Bhakti Purvam Tvam Chandike Vandinashani Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Chandike Satatam Yudhe Jayanti Papanashani Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Dehi Saubhagya Argoyam Dehi Devi Param Sukham Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Vidhehi Devi Kalyanam Vidhehi Vipulam Shriyam Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Vidhehi Dvishanashanam Vidhehi Balamuchakai Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Sura Sura Shiro Ratna Nigarishta Kana Charambike Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi Videyaftam Yasam Yakcha Lakshmi Pandata Chata Kukurutu Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dvisho Haritai Ide Stotram Padantuvyam Mahastotram Patad Naraha Sapta Sammadara Vartnoti Dulabaham Ite Shri Markandeya Purana Argala Stotra Sambatam Rupam Dehi, give me your form. Jayam Dehi, give me victory. Because giving you the form, I am you, mother. You are me. Yasho Dehi Dvisho Jahi is all about giving us and realizing that we are one with you, basically, and make me the perfect devotee of yours, that I shine my light in the world through you. You are the light, you are the darkness, you are everything. and that my life becomes a perfect offering to you.
Perfect offering to you, a perfect offering to you, a perfect offering to you. Blessed be.
Great goddess,
In your many forms, your 10,000 names, and most particularly Kalima, thank you for the knowledge we have of you. Thank you for our opportunity as women on our Earth Mother today to bring this knowledge through, to move unapologetically through life and guide humanity back into right relationship. Thank you, Divine Mother, for your great disciple, Marsha, who has instructed us with such eloquence and devotion. Thank you for Ava, who has created this temple and the Museum of Woman that brings us together with the knowledge that you are pouring into our hearts and wombs. May we expand these blessings out into the world. Give generously what you have given to us. So be it, blessed be.
Blessed be. Blessed be.
Ancestresses, you who are our very breath, you who are our blood, we thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Guides and guardians and angels of the heavens and angels of the earth, our totem animals and all helpful beings, we thank you for your presence, your ever presence. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Powers of the north and the south and the east and the west, air, fire, water, and earth in us. We take you with us always. You are our body, our breath, our eyes, our bones, our blood. You are everything in this physical world. We are so grateful to you. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
This concludes our Sunday service honoring Kali with the great Priestess MARSHA Lange. Our next Sunday services will be December 5th, honoring Mother Mary. And it will be our traditional Mother Mary Peace Supper for our members here living in Orange County. But we will also have something special for you to enjoy as a virtual circle. So we will have a Zoom meeting at that time. You will see foods of an ancient time. That would have been the foods that Mother Mary would have eaten. We will have those available, and it will be similar, as it always is, to a dumb supper. The food is eaten ritually, very quietly. Those of you who have attended our Mother Mary Peace Suppers know that it is the most popular service of the whole year, and we ask you to join us. So this concludes our services. Say thank you, women, to all the women in the circle. Thank you. Blessed be. Blessed be. And we shall have a bit of music for a couple of minutes. Go get something to drink and eat. We'll do the same, and we'll come back in 2 minutes, and we'll have our social chat. We'd like to connect with some of you and say hi and hear you, and you'll be on the screen so we can all see you. All right. Blessed be.
Blessed be.